Here we go. And live in Long Island, New York. Hi, Agnes. How are you doing? Fresh off, fresh off the trips. Yes, you're back. Enjoy. Did you have a good time?
Back from Sweden, yes, and it was so wonderful. I have to tell you, there was an experience for me because they have still long days. So the time that we went, they celebrate midsummer celebration. Everything was closed. Everyone was on a 3 day holiday. They going to suburbs. They dance. They eat herring, and they put beautiful flowers in their hair. Very nice. And why? Because as of few weeks from now, days will start becoming shorter and shorter for them. But right now, they we experience those white nights, and although we were just 20 minutes away from Stockholm, I was getting up. I left the window, the shutters open. I got up at midnight. I got up at 3 a.m. I got up at 5 a.m. just to check, is it time to get up because it's so light. It was beautiful sky, beautiful sky, beautiful. It looked like early sundown, and that was middle of the night.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
They're close to the top of the equator. I remember hearing about this, that, Eskimos also have this issue because they're closer to the top of the poles. And because of that, they have long days and long nights, right? When they
At
do,
certain
yeah,
time, at certain
yeah,
time, not all
at
the
certain
time.
times of the year. Yeah, yeah, it's not all the time, but they have like really long days. They have so like I think I've heard it called the month of night or something like that, right?
Mm,
So for you, you were actually experiencing like days of,
daytime, yeah.
yeah. How do you sleep? I said, it's got to be pouring in through the thing all the time. I
It
mean,
was
how?
great. It was
Yeah,
really that was nice experience.
but it
Yes.
was fascinating. All right, yeah, we got to get out there, man. That's a lovely, lovely place to be, I guess. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be talking about performance anxiety, the pressure of high expectations. And it's an interesting time to talk about this. I mean, we've had some very interesting things happen in the news recently. And so we could be talking about those things, but specifically, you could talk about what's going on in your relationship with high anxiety. High anxiety, you could be talking about work and how you could have performance anxiety. You could be talking about sports. I know that that happens in sports. You could even be talking about academics, right? You get into a test. There are people who are terrible test takers. They cannot go into a test and do well. They'll do great schoolwork all year, and then 40% of the grade is your test or your exam at the end, and it just goes really, really bad. And I know this is that time, right? People are doing, you have grads and dads type of time. This is when that's happening around the world. But yeah, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. The love, death, and taxes. Welcome back, Agnes. Let's get started. Yes, again, it is Love, Death, and Taxes. It's a beautiful June afternoon here in New York. While you were away, we were enjoying some great weather. Like it was really nice, but it gets really. New York has this thing where it turns on and it just gets really hot really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you can enjoy it, but then you can also be surprised by it. And so we kind of like switched on, and people were saying, in my town, people were saying, "Are the pools open yet? Are the spray parks open yet?" And people are like, just go to the beach because the beach is always open. Go to the
Mhm.
beach. Go
Did
to
it
the
rain while we were away?
Yeah, it rained a few times because
Mhm.
when it's really really hot,
Yeah.
like it's almost like tropical. So if it's too hot, then the rain comes and it drops, and then it just goes away really quickly. So even on Monday, we had these big clouds roll in, and then they turn dark, and then they drop some water on us, and then they roll back out. So the good thing was it's also windy here. Long Island is an actual island, so it's also a little windy here because we get wind off of the ocean and the Atlantic, and so it pushes it in and out. But yeah, it was all right. It was nice. I had one of the reasons why I wanted to go out and talk about this particular thing, this particular topic, was I was supposed to go out on that date while you were gone,
I
and
know.
yeah, and that did not work out because I got sick. And when I say sick, I mean I haven't been sick like that since I had, not even when I had COVID did I feel like that. It was just like flu, lay down, can't go anywhere, can't do anything. My kids are like hovering around me. It's during Father's Day weekend, so my kids are hovering around me, and I was like, what is happening? What's going on? And there was no, it was almost as if, and this is the thing that goes through my mind because I'm an overthinker, right? Did I do that to myself? Like, did I mentally do that? Is it because I had performance anxiety? Like I did not want to go out and do, this date or what? And I don't think it's anything against that specific person. I just think it might be me not being ready.
Well, knowing you, that's exactly what you did to yourself, and has nothing to do with her. Nothing, not one thing.
No, not at all, not at all. And I did start to feel it the Thursday. We were supposed to go on a Saturday, and even when the Friday when you and I were getting on the show, I was like, okay, we're only gonna do we want to do 2 shows, but I think I can only do 1 because my voice is doing the thing. And so I started to feel it from then. And then the next day it was like and those big X's across my eyes. So I was like, oh no, I can't do this. And then you're not sure. Nowadays, you're not even sure anymore. You're like, is it possible that I have the big C? Not the big C.
No, not that
not
that one. Yes, we're not gonna talk about that.
Try not to say it, because if you say it, then the YouTube has issues with you. But yeah, I that's partially why I'm talking about this. But then also, it's that season. It's examinations are happening right now. I see some companies, some businesses are having a little trouble right now. Some political leaders are doing things on television that they probably should not be doing because honestly, the performance was not great. So in general,
I don't think that was due to an anxiety. That was maybe
I'm just saying
on one side was maybe overpowering performance and spitting lie after lie, but
I just think that there's a pressure of high expectations, and so some people, that's when you flub it up. That's when you mess it up. I know for sure. You're like, okay, so some people just tell lies when that happens. I guess that could be a reaction, right? That could be a reaction.
But see, the thing is, and last night was kind of an example of it. You have to be realistic. Okay, you have to be realistic. Like I said, one side was overzealous, and another one was not so much. So the reality has to be faced. Being ready for performance, for some task, for anything, there is always there are usually 3 reasons: either unrealistic expectations, fear of failure, or lack of confidence.
Okay, all right. I see what you're just saying. Okay, yeah, fear of failure.
Yeah,
but could be perfectionism too. I definitely have an issue sometimes when I am producing work. Oh my gosh, we're going to be talking about this right after the show because we've got something that we're
Yeah.
putting together. But I have an issue sometimes if my work does not look good, if I don't feel both edified by it and entertained by it, I don't want to put it out in the world. I'm very scared about putting it out in the world because I feel as though people will have the same reaction that I'm having. Sometimes there's no reason for it. Like the other people watching, like, wow, that's great. And I'm like, no, it could have been better. It could have been this. We could have done that. And then months later, I will look at it and find all these faults too. So perfectionism could also be a reason why you have a performance anxiety. Societal expectations, like there's a certain amount of expectations that people expect from you, or you feel as though people expect from you, and those
Oh,
things can also, right?
the feeling coming from your mind. So
Yeah,
it's no, so it's you, not the society,
well,
because
I'm saying your perception of society. Now, okay, I get what you're saying. Good, good, good. That's right. So what do you have there? You've got
look, I was raised on this motto: what people will say.
yeah,
Okay, what people will say. So you have to act certain way. There's expectations. There's high expectations of behavior, of way of thinking, a way of life, because what people will say.
yeah. What do people say? Yeah,
Okay, so now that can bring you to the anxiety about anything and everything, because you are always looking behind your shoulder. Oh my God, did I behave properly? Am I performing properly? Do I have enough knowledge about that? So it's overthinking about things because you not believing in yourself.
yeah,
Now, if you're doing for society, I want to say the F word, society, because you have to be yourself. You
yes,
have to be yourself, no matter what. This is your life. Life is short. You have to live your life, not to others' expectations. You cannot live up to expectations of other people, unless they pay your mortgage, they feed you, they buy you clothes, and all that. That's an exemption, okay? But when we're talking about individual trying to do, every time I start something new, let's say a new job, I have
right.
2 weeks of an anxiety because I'm not sure if I'm gonna handle everything, if I'm gonna, rise up to the task. So after 2 weeks, I'm good. But
You,
2 weeks,
you
I have that.
You're
But
2 weeks. I think I might have 90 days because normally when I used to get jobs, it would be, we're putting
mhm,
you on 90 days probation. So in my mind, it was always 90 days. But you're right. I probably was over it by the first maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Like, oh, I know I can do this job now. So
yes,
you have
yes.
problems.
So the self-confidence kick in after 2 weeks.
Yeah,
That's how it is with me. After 2 weeks, I'm like, okay, now I have the footing, I have the balance, I know what I'm doing. Let's go. You know. But for others, like for performers, the stage fright, it's a big issue. I outgrow that, thank God. So, but I used to have that, and again, it's because it's not that I outgrow it and it went away. It's just because I learned to believe in myself, and
yes.
that's the best thing to do, because
Yeah.
you know sometimes you have to reach out for motivational books, right? Sometimes you have to give yourself a pep talk. There was some Saturday Night Live. There was this one character saying, "I'm good enough."
Yeah.
Something, something. I don't remember that exactly, but whatever it works,
Yeah.
whatever it works, you have to do.
Yeah.
Meditation works.
Yeah.
Calming yourself down. I mean, some people are so because that anxiety has a lot of different symptoms.
Yes.
It can be emotional, which it will really paralyzes you. You know, the apprehension, the embarrassment, and again, this is all because you have self doubt. So it's really. that fear that you might not stand up to task, that you are not good enough, that it's really paralyzing people. You can have cognitive symptoms, you know self-criticism, heightened focus on failure that will pull you down even deeper.
Yeah.
What is behavioral, so withdrawing from all different kinds of situations, avoiding being between people. It's sounds familiar. Ah,
I have to tell you, wow, interesting, 2020, around this time, we were seeing a lot of people um, online and in person uh, behave in certain ways that made me not want to be around people for a long time. And it may not just be me. I feel like there are a lot of people who might have been like that because, one, yes, you were out there with COVID in 2020, but also um, there were people attacking people for what they thought was their apparent leanings, like their ideology or whatever. I had people come into Facebook groups that I have and just curse me out because they could see my profile picture and were like, oh, that guy is Democrat or he's liberal or he's this because he is black. And I'm not saying in some things I'm not that way. I'm just saying you're attacking me and saying things about me. You don't know me from Adam. You're just coming into the group. You're brand new. What are you saying? And so, yeah, there are times when you feel as though there are pressures from society that make you just want to definitely withdraw and not necessarily put yourself out there. I see what you're saying.
that comes from sometimes the opposite of anxiety, performance anxiety, because some people have a need of feeling important.
Okay.
So especially if they are, you will see that quite often, when human being is important, let's say at the job, but at home they have nothing to say, or vice versa. They going to explode at certain point, or sometimes they have no meaning. People, they're kind of like invisible because they have actually people who will have problem with self, they will have self-doubt.
Yeah.
They don't know their self-value. They will try to hide behind the internet and blow up at others because, oh, I have to make my judgment, whatever I'm thinking, I have to be known, like make themselves important that
Yeah.
way. It
Yes.
comes from that need.
Yeah.
Others, they just don't respect freedom of speech. I mean, you can talk, you can express your beliefs, but don't shove in somebody's throat.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. But that as many human beings on this earth, everyone is different. They have different needs.
Yes.
They have different needs and they have different ways of expression. But specifically, when someone is uh, full of fear of not standing up to somebody else's standards, should
Yes.
maybe give themselves a little pep talk that you are good enough, that you are okay. You just have to be
Yeah.
yourself, because yourself, you are a good human being. And if someone doesn't accept you for the way you are, they're not meant to
Right.
be with you.
Yes. I can see
So
that.
yeah, because you can pretend. We were talking about it when people are dating. They meet the representative of a person. When they move in together, that's when they see the real person. And
Yes.
so, but for mature people, not old, mature, in mature age, I think
Yes.
there is no more time for representatives to show up, because you're losing that time,
Right.
that
Oh,
precious time.
I think there are, and you say mature, and I don't think you're talking about age. I think you are talking about mentally, because the truth is, most of us only have somewhere in the region of 75 to maybe 100 years on this planet, and it goes like that. And
Yeah.
those of us who have figured out that that time is really short and can disappear at any point in time want to be mature and want to spend time with people who actually like them for who they are, as opposed to, some avatar of who you would appear to be, right? You want them to like you for you, as opposed to liking you for some, and so, when you're young, yeah, a lot of people put on all kinds of airs, and um, they want to look a certain way and put forward lies and whatever, so that you seem like you're this person, but
See,
it's no good
no,
eventually.
majority of marriages of people that they get married in a very young age,
Mm,
they fell. 80% of those marriages fell. Why? Specifically because there's not love involved. It's a lot of lust. That's number one, and that passes, with time. A specific, especially when they're not getting along, you don't see the beauty of the person. It doesn't matter how that person might be, gorgeous and looking like a model. The attitude that it comes out from that person will kill the romance. That's one. So the lust goes out the window. And second of all, specifically, young women believe that they will change the man.
mm,
He's gonna do things for me because he will love me. I will change him. He will change for me. That change lasts for 10 minutes until he gets fulfilled with the lust and sex and everything else. And he gets back like, you know what? That's not gonna work. I'm gonna be me. And then, oh, you're not doing this, you don't love me anymore, and things like that. So I see that so often. It's just really it's sad.
yeah.
People don't accept themselves for who they are. If you don't see something in a person that you can live with, don't go there. Don't start serious relationship. But believing in yourself, that you are good enough, know your value as a human being. Why would you, anyone, not you, but why anyone will be afraid to show themselves to a potential partner?
No.
That's the most important thing. And if
Yeah.
someone doesn't accept you, then it's not for you.
Right.
The people can be friends, and a lot
Yes.
of people that can be friends, they can be lovers, they can be partners.
Right.
It's
And
just different
I,
personalities.
I think sometimes people want to keep other people. Sometimes they want to keep people as friends too, because it just works out better that way for whatever reason. But I
Yeah.
hear what you're saying. I mean, literally, that could come in as anxiety. It could come in as maybe you have even physical symptoms like heart racing or sweating or that sort of thing if you're having anxiety. And God forbid you get past that in the first part of the date or the first part of the relationship, and then you get to the secondary part, and things are supposed to work the way they're expected to work, and they can't work because
And there is another lack of performance.
yeah,
Okay.
a
But
different kind of performance, right?
see, it's,
Because the expectations are there, right?
well, the expectations usually people like that impose upon themselves. What if someone, you don't have to, the only expectations and levels you have to raise up to are
Mm-hmm.
your own moral values, your own conduct, y- y- social conduct. You know, you go as yourself. And if you feel nauseous, you have light meal, something to drink so you wouldn't faint, and it's not going to be, you don't want to embarrass yourself that way. But if you have problems or doubts that you're not going to appear the way you want, have a little note, with the questions you want to ask, or some points, like some ideas of talking, something like that. Make it easier on yourself.
Right. Right.
And
That's
everything else will go smoothly. If this is the right person, you will hit off in the first 5 minutes. You will feel it.
good. Good. How about going to like a support system if you feel that way? Like you think this is something that you should share with your friends, your family, so that they can maybe pump you up and say, hey, you're a great person. You should definitely feel like you should be okay with this and this and that, right? That helps, right?
Absolutely. The pep talk comes from yourself or somebody close to you that you trust. It's
Hmm.
a fantastic idea. But going on a date, I don't know. You can have someone on the phone who can tell you that, not sitting behind you and say, "Okay, you're doing good. Keep going. Tell her she looks beautiful."
Yeah, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that deep. But yeah, who's that? What is that? The guy with the long Cyrano de Bergerac, who tells the
Mm,
guy how to
yeah, yeah,
how to
yeah.
behave. But yeah, yeah, I would hope that that's not necessarily the case. But yeah, I see what you're saying, and that definitely makes sense. And, preparation maybe before something has happened, like reminding yourself. I mean, if you feel like you're going to speak in front of a crowd, maybe you prepare properly and develop the skills so that when you are speaking, your anxiety levels are reduced, and so you're good to go. I literally think that's part of what happened yesterday with those two guys in the debate. I feel as though one person has been out speaking to people all year. He's been out every day talking to people almost. And then this guy, well, not every day because half of the days he had to be in court, but the other day, but the other guy was like, I'm sitting in the White House, not doing anything and not practicing this. And he shows up and he's a very lackluster performance. Nobody can deny that.
Spent 1 week
Yeah,
preparing himself. So
no,
look, at certain point we have to be realistic. Okay. Certain things like let's put it this way, when you are 85, you should not be really jumping of the cliff with the parachute. Is it the proper thing to do? I would not advise.
not a good.
So there is retirement age. It's for a reason.
Yeah,
Retirement is for a reason. And to be honest, people have to be out of their minds to actually run for this kind of position, because it's extremely difficult job and high stress, and young people going in, they finishing their terms with white hair. So
yeah. Young people go in
yeah,
and leave with full heads of gray hair, much less people who are already have gray hair. And I got to tell you, uh, if a position requires you to speak, it is neither good to be a person who has a potential to not tell the truth, nor is it good for a person to have a potential to just trail off and ramble off in their speaking. If you are required to speak in your job, sure, and you have one of those problems, step away from. Step away from. So very interesting, very interesting. And yes, the pressure. I get it. We have the pressure, and performance anxiety can get at you, but yeah, you want to try to uh, prepare yourself beforehand, but then also maybe go looking for some help. I mean, do you think that's what happened? He was only getting help for a week, you said? Is that what he did? He prepared for a week?
yeah,
That's
yeah.
a mistake. That's a complete and total
Well,
mistake.
the
That's silly.
thing is that in this kind of situation, actually, what other people say, it's very important. Not like you're going to for a date, going on a date, and it's just important what that one person will think of you. In this
Right.
situation, yes, what other people think and say, and it's very,
Actually
very important.
matters.
So. Yeah.
It is literally a popularity contest. That's what it is. So you need to be up there and be popular
Who is the
and be
prettier of them
intelligent
all?
and, and be likable. Yeah, that's great. All right. I feel like that's great like introduction to performance anxiety. I don't feel as though we went into it deep, but those are definitely great strategies for coping. Thank you, Agnes. And definitely the impact on mental and physical well-being that she was talking about before, that makes sense as well. Do you have any final thoughts on this before we close up?
Believe in yourself, know your value, know the fact that you are a good human being, and other people will be blessed to have you in their life. It's good to remember that.
Excellent. That's right. That is. It's very true. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much very much for sitting with us here at Love, Death, and Taxes. I hope you are catching the show on all of the other places where it is, because it is on. Yes, it's on LinkedIn and YouTube, and we'll post this in a few minutes to Facebook. But we are also podcasts on Apple Podcasts, on Google Podcasts is shutting down, so you're not going to find us there, but you'll find us on Apple Podcast and on Spotify
And
and
then
on Amazon. Uh, like a couple of days after this is actually posted. But if you want to see it like right away, the best place to come see it is YouTube. I feel like that's the best place to see us and hear us. And we've been having a really good time here with the technical stuff, Agnes. I mean, we were having some issues before, but no, those seem to all be gone, right? I'm
yeah, so
very,
maybe somebody's new computer helped.
I think so. I think so. If you are looking for help with your tax resolution issues, I want you to go check that out at NYTax. That's where Agnes Anisano, the Tax Pro, will be able to help you over there. And if you would like to send in any information, or you have some questions, or you have some comments about this particular show or any of the show, you can send it to mailbag at lovedeathandtaxes.com. Go ahead and send it over there, and we will pick that up. Remember, there's no judgment here. We are just happy to talk to you about the things that are inescapable in life. And until next week, we'll see you again. All right.
Have a
Take
good
care.
weekend.
All right. Bye bye.